Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to RTG in 2024 for the fourth round of this Monday Tier 1. And where else to start off the new year? Well, better to start, actually, than Austria, the Spielberg Ring, the Red Bull Ring, sorry, in Spielberg. One of the shortest tracks on the calendar. It's 4.318 kilometres and 2.68 miles in length. It's got 10 corners. It has got 3 DRS zones though, so there should be plenty of overtaking opportunities. We're going to see the softs, the C5 compound, the C4 mediums and the C3 hard compound tyre. And to talk a little bit more and go on to the championship as it stands. Nice job, mate, leading the way in Tier 1 at the moment with 67 points. Short Marcus is in second on 63. Little Mo is bumped himself up to third place in the championship after his win a couple of weeks ago in mid-December. When he won at Imola. Josh McGill is sitting in fourth place, his Alfa Romeo teammate, and Matthew is fifth on 48 points for Josh McGill as well. So those two are very close together as well. Alfa Romeo on 58 points in the constructors. 98 points in the constructors, 93 points for McLaren, and 67 points for the Alpine. So yeah, welcome everyone, a happy new year. Hope you all had a good night last night. I took it rather easy actually. I had a drink on New Year's Eve instead with a friend, so I've actually got a clear head for a change on New Year's Day today. So as we're seeing drivers now starting to come out on to the track, obviously had the first 3 races so far. 2 of the pole positions have been taken by Prodigy so far this season, and Matthew in the Alpine was the other one. To talk about Matthew, if you haven't checked it out already, go and check out the overtakes of the month from December. There's some really good overtakes in there, Matthew being one of those. So make sure to check that out, along with the highlights from the races a couple of weeks ago, just to refresh your memory. That came out yesterday as well, along with the Moments of the Week short video on TikTok, Instagram, and on the YouTube Shorts as well, which is at the top of the homepage on the channel. And if you want to check out the rest of the standings, they're posted on the YouTube and the Instagram weekly. So if you've not, then follow us on Instagram at official RTG TV. So, got drivers starting their first laps this evening. Paul Jones, our reigning Thursday tier champion. Technically, that would have been the first tier, I would have said back then, even though we didn't have tiers, but I think with the cavalry drivers last season. But anyway, now going into the second sector on this circuit, through turn 6, and then the chicane of 7 and 8. As we then go up this slight hill and crest and then come down into turn 9. Watch out for track limits on the exit of turn 9 and the exit of turn 10 as well. Spoke too soon. Paul Jones invalidates his lap on the exit of turn 10. Pippo Kennedy setting the first lap of the evening, the first lap of 2024, with a 104.399, and Royal Rumble just crossed the line about 5 tenths back from him with a 104.878. The last time we were here, it was the Thursday tier last season in their first round, and that was a sprint as well. But we did have a short qualifying session for that sprint, so it's relevant to what's going on today, and that was set by Prodigy, who is also here, of course, in the Mercedes this season. That was a 104.258, so we'll see if we're able to beat that later on into the session, or potentially earlier, as we're quite close to that already with Pippo Kennedy. And then Josh McGill smashes that pole time from last season already by around a tenth, as the Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo get out of the way to let slow-moving cars come through. Fast-moving cars come through, sorry. Another one that's just finished the lap. Short Marcus goes on to provisional pole with a 104.113. Are we going to get into the 103s before the end of this qualifying session? As the Alfa Romeo tucked in behind the rear wing of that Scarlet Ferrari. So Chuckle just setting a lap there. Prodigy, the driver who set pole last time we were here, goes on to provisional pole and into the 103s, 103.956. Just showing drivers getting more and more used to this F1 23 game as we go into 2024. And someone else just crossed the line there. Ginger, the other Mercedes, gone up to 8th place. So, just in a little bit of other news, it was announced yesterday, I think. What do we all think, guys, in the chat about this team here, Alfa Romeo, going from being called F1 Stake Formula One? Oh, I can't remember the name, but now going just to Stake F1 team. So the Sauber name being dropped again, and they've decided to go for a real glorified title sponsor, where the team is now technically called Team Stake, I guess, which is a betting company. Doesn't really sit well with me personally, but yeah, there you go. I wonder what you guys think in the comments. If any of you want to make a comment on that. Is Matthew is about to negotiate turn 4. Back end of that Alpine, almost looking like it was slipping out as he turned into the right-hander, of course, downhill. So you've got to brake a little bit earlier than you normally would, as he now makes his way through turns 6 and 7. We had the kink of 5 a little earlier on, after turn 4, obviously, and then through turn 8, up and down the hill into turns 9 and 10, where we may see penalties and track limits galore this evening as he makes his way through that final corner. He goes 4th fastest, 104.235, potentially as well the closest in terms of lap times, in terms of delta between the pole position and anyone else. Is a very short lap round here, but we are more than likely going to see a lot of action as well. We were supposed to have 19 drivers this evening, and I believe as well, I may go double check this, I think Tiny's now taken a full-time seat in that Ferrari team. I think Lewis G is left us again. His nice job, mate, goes 12th, the driver leading the championship as we've gone into this round 4. So the driver who's taken 2 of the 3 driver of the days this season and taken a win as well for good measure, making his way down towards turn 9 and 10 as he goes through the final corner. He goes 11th fastest, Little Mo, with a 104.534, and more recently been my FIFA competitor in the last day or two. Gonna have to give him a rematch after the race is done. Hopefully he'll be in a good mood afterwards and want to do it, as Paul Jones now makes his way out of the pit lane. Car 69 is not set a lap time just yet, with 9.5 minutes to go in the session. So as we wait, there's only been one driver this season so far in qualifying that's got into the top 3 at the end of qualifying, and that's our provisional pole sitter at the moment, Prodigy. He's the only one that's been in the top 3, and I've got 2 of those pole positions as well. And some drivers have struggled somewhat. The 2 Alpha Tauris have yet to get inside the top 10 when the checker flag comes out at the end of qualifying. I wonder if that will be able to change this evening. Royal Rumble, I believe, is the only Alpha Tauri driver this evening, and he's down in 14th at the moment. And as I said earlier on, that we've had 3 different winners so far in the first 3 races. Matthew winning the first race, Josh McGill won the second, and that was in Bahrain. And then last week, it wasn't last week, 2 weeks ago, Little Mo won on the 18th of December in Imola. So we've had 2 Alfa Romeos win so far. That's why they're top of the Constructors' Championship, and had the Alpines win, one with Matthew with that penultimate lap overtake round the outside of Nice job, mate. As I said, he's in the overtakes of the month video from December. 103.807, provisional pole for Josh McGill, who runs wide and onto the red and white Austrian flag to let some other cars go through. So Paul, still the only one yet to set a lap time so far today, as he makes his way out of turns 7 and 8. Up and over the crest into the penultimate corner of 9. Keep it within track limits. He wasn't able to do that last time around. Just keeps it within track limits this time and crosses the line and goes 7th fastest with a 104.320. A 10th exactly. He was a 10th exactly ahead of RTG Lee, but Tiny's now slotted between there and took 8th place. So, track a little bit quiet at the moment. Got one driver on an out lap. A few more, it looks like they're coming in from a fast lap. As provisional pole now goes to Prodigy with a 103.731. Not sure where this is going to end actually into the 103s. The track just seems to be getting faster and faster along with the drivers as Chuckle makes his way down into turn 4. Now powers out through turn 5 in car number 5 and then into the long left of turn 6 where we could see some overtakes there. Some people like to try it around the outside. Be careful of that gravel trap on the outside though as we go through 7 and 8, and was a little bit too greedy at 8 and has been rewarded with a track violation as I just dropped my phone on the floor, so apologies for that. You heard that? So now dives into the pits. Interesting pit lane here as well in terms of league racing. In real life, they've got to stick to the right-hand side before turn 9 and commit to the entry line. In game, there's no penalty for crossing that white line on the entry. There is on exit, but not on entry. So that's something interesting. When I used to run a league, I used to put a rule in that you had to stay to the right-hand side before going into turn 9 to commit to going into the pits to save any sort of incident. I don't believe there's been any sort of instruction from the admins of RTG, so I think it's exit turn 9 and then get into the pits between 9 and 10. It doesn't usually cause a problem, but it sometimes can. His nice job mate gets on to the 3rd row in 5th place, just behind his teammates on the 2nd row in 4th place. So pretty much everyone in the pits. We've got Little Mo that's come back out again, now down in 14th after that first lap, and he's just started falling down the standings since waiting to come back out again. Got Royal Rumble about to start. As I said, one of the only drivers this season that is yet to get into the top 10 at the end of qualifying. So we'll ride on board with him for a lap, and I'll stay quiet actually as we ride on board with the Alpha Tauri driver. So there you go. What do you think about that then? Is he's crossed the line and still in 16th? So outlaps are plenty now as we're starting to get on with it. So while we wait on outlaps, Prodigy sitting on provisional pole right now. His teammate as well, not been able to get inside the top 10. DMAC, who isn't here this evening, as Ginge is taken his place in the Mercedes. And Ginge was in the Haas, so I'm not too sure what's happened there actually. I'm not sure if he's decided to change, if he's had a team change. Sorry, as a commentator, I should know better and I should know what's really going on with that, but apologies, I don't. But I'm sure, I'll be sure to find it out for you for either next week or hopefully before that on Thursday when I'm back with Lee, obviously for Tier 2, for that full qualifying session that we normally have. So as he cracks on into Turn 1, course now called the Lauda Curve, named famously after three-time world champion Niki Lauda. Of course, we lost a few years ago now, getting on to 5 years ago, that we lost Niki Lauda, of course, just before the eve of the Monaco Grand Prix. As Ginge now makes his way down into Turn 4, tricky corner to get right, uses a lot of the apex curb on entry to open up the corner as much as possible. As he now makes his way through turns 6 and 7, is now 7 and 8 do come up on you very, very quickly indeed. Make sure to keep within track limits, which he did at turn 8, and then watch out track limits on exit of 9 and 10. The most treacherous point for that white line on this circuit, as well as turn 1, actually quite a difficult one to get right. Moves up into 11th place and gets there just before the checker flag, as it's now come out. So a few of the drivers are not going to be able to go quicker now, Short Marcus being one of them. Okay, so I'm getting some information from Little Mo, actually, that DMAC may not be around. So I think we've had a driver change. I think GTO's still a reserve as well. But anyway, we'll talk about that another time. Prodigy is invalidated, so he's not going to be able to go faster. Josh McGill gets onto provisional pole for the time being, as Prodigy's not going to be able to go quicker. Matthews taking the checkered flag as well. Nice job, mate. He's invalidated his lap time as well. Pippo Kennedy makes his way into the pit lane. Obviously, Ginge isn't going to be able to go any faster as GT is coming into the pits. Unless Matty Jones has got anything to say about it, but he's 6/10 down. He's coming into the pits. I believe that is the end of qualifying. Josh McGill takes that extra point and takes his first pole position of season 14. Okay, interesting. Thank you, Mo. So we've had a couple of comments in from Mo, actually keeping me in the loop. We'll talk about that in just a second. But the Brit of Josh McGill is on pole for the Austrian Grand Prix. And on the front row with him is the man who's took 2 pole positions and now has to settle for a second row. But for a 4th week in a row in that top 3, in the top 3 at the end of qualifying. Matthew is 3rd, Chuckle is 4th, Matty Jones is 5th, 6th is Nice Job Mate, Shaw Marcus is 7th, 8th is Pippo Kennedy, 9th is Paul Jones, Chuckle is 10th, Little Mo is just outside the top 10, Ginge is 12th, Tiny is 13th, 14th is Looney Man, RTG Lee is 15th, 16th is Prof, 17th is Royal Rumble, GT Ord is 18th, and a driver that came in later on as well. It means that we have 19, and Danny is starting 19th and the only one on the 10th row of the grid. Bear with me just a second, guys. So while we wait to get underway, as you can see, all the drivers inside the top 12 are on medium tyres at the moment. We've got 2 on the hards in 13th and 14th, Tiny and Looney, and the rest on mediums. Just seen a switch there from Short Marcus going on to the soft tyre. Interesting, the only one going on to that soft tyre. Not sure what the strategy is going to be today. And a couple more inside that top 10 now going on to the hard tyre, a different compound to the rest on the medium, but the consensus across the grid at the moment looking like the medium tyre is the preferable tyre, and still looking like the only soft runner at the moment is Short Marcus. Yeah, as I said, Pippa Kennedy on the hard tyre along with Matty Jones as well, who's decided to take that route as well. The top 4 are all on mediums, and as I said, the consensus is the medium tyre. So whilst we wait to get underway, and here we go, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 red lights for the first race in 2024. And we're away for the Monday Tier 1 race here in Austria. And Josh McGill's getting a decent start. Had a bit of wheel spin right at the very first phase of the start. As we go into turn 1, we see a Red Bull there trying to go up the inside of 2 cars, but had to back out of it. Nice job, mate. Moving up on Matty Jones as we run up the hill towards turn 3. He's got the Williams on his outside, going to have to defend to the inside. And then we've got the Alpine of Matthew trying to get ahead of Prodigy in the Mercedes as Josh McGill stays in the lead as we go down towards turn 4. A switch of positions between Williams and Ferrari. Short Marcus makes up a position into 6th. Chuckle going around the outside there, and Matthew trying to keep it on the straight and narrow, and gets past and gets up onto the podium places halfway through lap 1 as we go into 6 and down into turn 7. Mainly single file racing for the next few corners as we now exit turn 8 and up and over the hill of turn 9. Up and over the hill into turn 9, sorry, as we now go through that corner and into turn 10, where I said track limits is going to be a crucial part of the race today, and making sure to keep it within those white lines. Prodigy getting closer and closer now after losing a little bit of time up to turn 3 on the previous lap, but now getting so close he can look for a move on the outside here. No DRS available, of course, but gets past before they hit the brakes for turn 3. There's your pit stop strategies, everyone. Medium to hards, or hard, medium, medium. No softs on the predicted strategies, which I think Short Marcus has still decided to go on to. No, he changed to the medium tyre right at the very last second. And as we go down into turn 4 once again, we'll see the biggest gains and losses in that first lap. And pretty even, but Little Mo, our last race winner, is now down in 15th and lost 4 places after starting 11th, and he's got it. Alpha Tauri up his inside now trying to go for it, but he's still holding on around the outside of turn 7 and then on the outside of turn 8, and it means that Royal Rumble now somehow has ended up on the gravel and down in 19th and last. Sorry, apologies. I've been suffering with a bit of an illness, so I just had to have a minute there. As Prodigy goes off the road there at turn 1. And he's lost 2 places and down in 3rd. Is he going to be down in 4th now? Is Matthew looking very feisty there, having a look at that gap on the inside, but it closed very, very quickly indeed as the Mercedes driver goes around the outside of Chuckle and back up into 2nd, but Josh McGill back in the place where he started after his qualifying performance and 1.6 seconds ahead of the cars behind him as they go through 6th and 7th once again for the 3rd time at this Red Bull Ring and race conditions. We see the drivers have not been separated by much, and as we've got DRS enabled of course already, it's going to be difficult to get out of that DRS window. You've literally got 4 or 5 corners, 4 or 5 braking zones as well actually. Yeah, 5 braking zones, 4 braking zones to get out of the DRS. It's a tall order to have some serious speed round here, but Josh McGill already broke away crucially, but Prodigy catching back up, and of course all the guys going to be giving themselves a healthy tow, healthy boost of that DRS. And now down and up we go again, rising and falling at the Spielberg Mountains. At the Styrian Mountains here, near Spielberg, in the heart of the Austrian Alps. We go through turn 6. It's a difficult corner to get right, but these are the corners that you need to get right every time if you want to break DRS from the driver behind you. But of course, you've got someone ahead on DRS as well. It's certainly a tricky decision that you've got to make as Pippo Kennedy moves up a place there on Matty Jones. It's Red Bull filling with a Williams in a Williams sandwich right now. Is Prodigy already getting himself a 3-second time penalty, something we're used to the South African in recent seasons with making mistakes in terms of track limits, but has been able to get back into that 1 second window and closing all the time with that rear wing open, giving him around an extra 20 kilometers an hour, 12 miles an hour in extra speed as they go up the hill to turn 3 and then down here towards turn 4. Right on board with the first of the 2 Red Bulls, obviously nose to tail at the moment, and just behind our reigning Thursday champ of Paul Jones as they go through turn 8. Instead here, the corner of turn 8 comes up at you really thick and fast actually. As you come out, it kind of banks up a little bit and then it's right in front of you, and of course you've got to cut over that corner to get the best line possible. Prodigy now getting closer and closer again, with the DRS being a big aid to him right now as they exit turn 1, an important corner to get right as we're climbing uphill, ascending towards turn 3. Massive elevation change here at the Red Bull Ring as we go into turn 3. Both of them very calm, composed as they exit that corner. Which way is Josh McGill going to defend? He doesn't need to actually, his Prodigy didn't get close enough. Short Marcus though getting very close to the back of that McLaren, now alongside as they exit turn 4 and through the right-hander of 5, who's going to be later on the brakes into 6. It's a nice job, mate, but there we go, around the outside at turn 6, Short Marcus. I think the man has a clear head today, no hangover for the Ferrari driver. He's got it all sorted here on New Year's Day. And moved up into 5th place, just had overtakes of the month. I think they may have our first contender for another one in that 7 overtakes of January as we go into turn 1. Matty Jones getting close to that Red Bull. It's going to be interesting to see the fight here between the Williams and the Red Bulls, as well as the Ferraris actually. It's definitely the teammates are quite close together today as Matty Jones now looks up the inside into turn 3. The detection point though is just into the braking zone, so who got it? Was it the Williams or the Red Bull? It was the Red Bull of Pippo Kennedy. Is he going to fight back here? Going to, as I said, have that 20 kilometres an hour, 12 miles an hour of extra speed as they go into turn 4. So Josh McGill still being able to maintain the lead. Matthews starting to become an ever bigger presence in the rear view mirror of the McLaren driver of Chuckle. And getting so close, it almost went into the back of him there into turn 1. I don't think they made contact with each other there as they now make their way up the hill. And then who's going to be later on the brakes between the top two, actually, is still staying single file. But look at that, right towards the back here, it's so close, all the way back to 15th place. Is 15th of Little Mo is now going through turn 3. So only really this one straight between 1st and 15th, which is going to cause a headache for some when they come into the pits, medium runners especially, of course, having to pit a little earlier on. Talking of tyres, did anyone opt for the softs in the end? No one did. We had Matty Jones, Pippa Kennedy and Tiny who went on the hard tyres. They're all close together. Ginge is out of the Austrian Grand Prix. We've got a virtual safety car deployed. Not sure where he's lost it there, actually. Oh, the exit of turn 6. And I think his car is already gone. I'm not too sure what happened there. It's caused a bit of a train reaction. Prodigy's decided to stay out, as well as Short Marcus. So just deciding it was a little too early on to go into the pit lane. And quite a few have decided to pit. Would they be going for the hard tyres? Keep an eye out on the safety car. Sometimes it gets upgraded. There's going to be a little bit of a race here at the pit lane. Where's Royal Rumble popping out? Oh, that's interesting. Who's ahead of who there? That would have been very, very close indeed. And I think Royal Rumble has been asked by race control to slot back into 11th place. So obviously a bit different from a normal safety car. We've just got a estimated time of arrival at certain points of the circuit, and they have to reduce their speed, I think, by 40% overall around the lap. As we get back racing again, a drive-through penalty for Looney Man for speeding under that VSC. So got his delta a little bit wrong. He's down in 15th and looking like he's going to be down in the last spot on in the field at the moment. In 18th place as Lee moves up on Looney Man, just to add salt to the wounds. And Prodigy, almost 2 seconds in the lead, of course, hasn't stopped. The first one that did was Josh McGill. He's down in 8th now and has got 4 seconds to gain on the Cure cars ahead of him. That really goes all the way up to no, sorry, it doesn't actually. It's Tiny and Matty Jones switching places, and Tiny getting closer and closer to the back of Pippo Kennedy. Those three that started on the hard tyres all still line astern right now as they make their way down and then rise up again. It's a lot of elevation change at this Red Bull circuit here in Spielberg as they exit turn 5 into turn 6 with the driver in 6th place. So just careful of the gravel trap on the outside. That could have been a reason we didn't see it, of course, with Ginge. Not too sure what actually happened with Ginge, but yeah, interesting. We have one driver out already of the 19, now down to 18, going on to lap 11 with the race leader who's making his way up towards turn 3. Of course, that new bit of tarmac there, where the MotoGP has decided to have a different layout to the Grand Prix. I think that was due to safety issues. His turn 3 here is quite dangerous on a MotoGP bike. Whoa, Tiny went a bit deep into the braking there and caused his car almost to park on the outside of turn 3, which meant Pippo Kennedy went into the back of him. Not sure if he's got damage. It's mean Josh McGill has been able to get past, but of course he's fighting these guys for positioning ahead of him. And as I said, the first one to have pitted so far Long way to go on those hard tyres though. I feel like it may be too long to ask of those C3 compound tyres. Now, looking at the inside towards turn 9 would have to really be alongside there. And look at this, just being held up by Tiny as Matthew gains places as Pippo Kennedy decides to pit. Does that mean that he actually got damaged as Josh McGill's on the inside here at turn 1? Does that mean that Pippo got damage here? I think it was. I think he did. So there's a wing change for him. As we look back here with Little Mo and GT Ord, who's let them through actually, and RTG Lee as well, in a group of 3 right now, jostling for points outside the top 10. As Little Mo now gets past. So Tiny and Matty still yet to pit as well, but it's pretty much a 50-50 split on the pit stops now. But yeah, it is exactly a 50-50 split. It's 9 drivers who have pit so far and done their mandatory pit stop as Matthew gets past Tiny there. Of course, another driver that's won a race this season. As we see Matthew here on the outside, going to have to be daring and brave to get past him there, and does so with the extra grip of the fresh medium tyres against Matty Jones on the older hard tyres. Of course, with less grip, as Paul Jones almost dives out the way there to let Josh McGill through. Doesn't want to get involved in any scraps or skirmishes with the I'm going to say net race leader actually, is the 3 ahead have yet to pit. And when are they going to pit? They're all on medium tyres. Short Marcus and Prodigy looks like they're trading on lap times right now. Maybe Prodigy just slightly faster, but that rear of that Mercedes not looking overly stable as Matthew now gets past the Williams of Paul Jones, and Short Marcus loses a place to Nice Job Mate now, who's up into 2nd place. The way I'm feeling this is going though, the drivers that pit under that VSC are going to be going for a 2-stop. The drivers in the top 3 right now, I think, are going to try and attempt a 1-stop. Prodigy's going to have to try and do something good right now, because he's one of 2 that have got time penalties. Both of them actually inside the top 10. But what Short Mark is thinking now, he's got passed by Nice Job Mates. Is he just going to try and stick within that DRS and pull him along? Josh McGill, our net race leader, is bearing down on him thick and fast right now as they go into turn 7 and 8. And could be within DRS range as we go around turn 9. Maybe a little bit optimistic from me there. Close though, just outside that 1 second gap. He is going to get DRS though, up towards turn 3, which I think is the longest straight here at Austria. And as we hit the brakes, look at them all using that entry curve as much as possible to open up turn 1, which is quite a tricky 90-degree corner where it goes uphill into the apex. Short Marcus though, getting closer and closer to Nice Job Mates. But the 3 of them staying single file as they go through turn 3. And Short Marcus getting a little out of shape there, which just meant Josh McGill, he's got closer and closer. Is it close enough for him to get alongside? No. He slots back in to go single file once again through turn 4, but is clipping at the heels of that Ferrari as they go into turn 6. And Josh looking like he's struggling behind there, and maybe a bit of impatience is becoming a factor here, because all the time he's sitting behind these 2. It's time lost to Prodigy. As I said, it's going to be a 2-stop by looks things for Josh McGill, which is just a bit too much of an ask to do the 1 stop and around 30 laps, 28 laps on that hard tyre. It's a long, long way to go as we're getting towards half distance. Is Josh McGill going to go for it here? He's got the Ferrari of short markers ahead of him. Nice job ahead of him, but no, short markers gets ahead of nice job, mate. And Josh McGill now trying to get past him. He's lost 2 places in one straight, and it just shows how effective that DRS can be in F1 23. As Josh McGill now gets past short markers as well, up into second. He's 4 seconds back from our leader Prodigy, who said is yet to pit, as you can see on your screen at the moment. Nice job, mates, out, and he's collided with Matthew, one of our race winners, and the safety car's deployed. Is that a bit of a... oh my days, I'm not too sure what's happened there. Shame I didn't catch it, unfortunately, but nice job is out, and I believe that's the first time he's been out this season, and I'm sure that's not the end of his New Year's Day that he would have wanted. Safety car is out. That is certainly going to now be a chain reaction for everyone. Josh McGill back onto the mediums, maybe. Can he go to the end? Still a long way to go, but we're not sure how many laps we're going to get under this safety car. Matthew is retired as well. That's surely out of frustration. The driver who is fighting for this World Championship on 47 points. He didn't attend in Imola. He's not going to have finished here in Austria, losing a bag load of points, and will slowly, as we get into round 5 and towards the end of the first half of season 14, will slowly be becoming a non-championship contender at this rate. Obviously, kind of finishing is the main goal, and collecting as many points as possible. Thinking about a long game is no job, mate. Leads, and hopefully tries to enjoy the rest of his New Year's Day. But we're now down to 16 drivers out of the 19 who started with us this evening. And of course, nice job being the other one that's in this title fight at the moment. Short markers is in third. We've got Josh McGill. The whole sort of order of things, I think, after today's race, it is going to change, I think. And you know, having a look at it now, Prodigy's finished all 3 races, hasn't won a race so far this season, but has been pretty consistent points wise. He's only got himself 1 podium. Nice job, mate. Was the only driver so far this season who's been on a podium in every race, and of course that is now ended as we've got something going on in the pit stops here. I think that's just Royal Rumble with the entry to the pits, a bit of a shortcut from the traditional final corner onto medium tyres for him. Bear with me just 1 sec. Apologies for that. So, just had a comment in from John, aka Matthew's dad, who we appreciate, watches along pretty much week in, week out now, which is lovely to see. He's just really kept it blunt. Feels that it was Nice Job Mate's fault. He says he's actually seen footage of that, what he believes is the case. Obviously, I'm sure the stewards will be having a look at that. Later on, and we'll find out the results of that for next week. I'll keep a note of that, actually, if you guys are interested to know who watch along and don't have it in on the Discord. So, safety car in this lap, which means we'll get racing again on lap 20. Basin, welcome along. I said, yeah, better late than never. Right, just had a safety car. Matthew and Nice Job Mate came together. Of course, the safety car, Matthew retired of his own accord. Nice Job was not able to continue with the right front being lost. Had a VSC before that as well. Everyone is now pitted and we're getting back underway on this New Year's Day. On to lap 20. Was that a bit of a corner cut on the apex there for Prodigy? Not too sure, but we get back racing once again on lap 20 with the 16 cars still running as we go through turn 1 and back on up the hill towards turn 3 through this slight left-hand kink of turn 2 there, which was usually called that because of the MotoGP bikes. But is anyone going to have a look at a move into turn 3? Everyone keeping it nice and tidy and not really having an opportunity to go for that lunge on the inside. Paul Jones on the timing screen, like he was the closest to his competitor ahead, which is subsequently chuckle at the moment in that McLaren. The Red Bulls and the Williams were quite close together for a good portion of the first third of the race. And have now somewhat split up. Two Williams, though, still quite close together, and they've got their Ferrari and the Red Bull of Tiny and Chuck just in between them as they now make their way up the hill once again, where we see the best overtaking point on the circuit. There's the detection point for the DRS. You see that white line across the circuit just in the braking zone into turn 3. But of course, no DRS just yet. Gonna have to wait another lap and a half until we get that activated, and then we'll have it up to turn 3 for the first time today. GT Ord losing a couple of places there, now down in 16th, been overtaken by Danny and Prof into turn 4. As we now climb over the hill and down into turn 9, and then we descend again into turn 10 where we level off and then back on that up and down roller coaster, which is the Red Bull Ring. As DRS is now enabled. Of course, Prodigy having a 3-second time penalty. His only hope is, well, he's got two hopes really, that Josh can gain time to Josh. Sorry, not lose time. Josh gain time to Josh by 3 seconds or more, or Josh gets himself a 3-second time penalty as well. And then it's kind of game on between those two, but they have got short markers. Chuck or Paul Jones, Tiny, all of them are so close behind. Tiny and Chuck, though, the other two that have got themselves time penalties. Everyone who has a time penalty at the moment is on 3 seconds. Nice and easy to remember. So as we go up and into turn 9, so it's just a little bit of a stalemate right now. Drivers just biding their time by the looks of things, but it's Josh McGill thinking his patience is starting to waver now as he's getting closer and closer to Prodigy, and even closer still with the aid of that DRS. Is he going to try and go for it? Yeah, he's going to have to take the long way round though. but I think he's going to get it done before they even hit the brakes. It does mean that Prodigy's going to get that DRS back at him again as we exit turn 3. Difficult traction zone to get right as you come over the crest on the exit of turn 3, which can get the rear end of the car getting a little loose and slippy as you get on the throttle pedal as Chuckle now gets past Short Marcus into turn 4. Whilst all that was going on, Paul Jones is another driver to have been handed a 3-second time penalty for those track limit violations, which he said is something we see in game far too often here at Austria. And of course, we've seen it last year now at the Austrian Grand Prix in the midsummer, as Paul Jones is now going into the pit lane. And he committed to that inside as well. And now I think he's going to retire. Actually, is he retiring? I don't believe so. So I think he's just got himself a 3-second time penalty. 5-second time penalty. Speeding in the pit lane. Didn't look like he got the car slowed down at all quickly enough. So look at this now. Prodigy getting closer and closer. Paul Jones has left the session, but hasn't retired his car, interestingly enough. So his car will come back out on the circuit. We haven't got ghosting on though in RTG, so his car won't get in the way. So we're now on lap 24, about to go on to lap 25. Race has gone very, very quickly, as it always does here at Austria. Had quite a lot of action so far on this first day of 2024 and first race of 2024. So now on to lap 25. Be careful of that sausage curve on the outside. It can be awfully treacherous. Prodigy again getting closer and closer, deciding on the inside line, holds back though, moves back behind him and actually clouts the back of that Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo, rear wing, as Matty Jones looks like he gets past here. Little Mo now inside the top 10, and it seems to always have some good pace in the second half of the race. Paul Jones not very happy, says the game is a joke, had wing damage and wasn't told about it. He said, don't usually quit, but I literally couldn't turn, and I'm assuming he didn't know that for a while because the game didn't even tell him he had wing damage. Interesting enough, it's a shame. So we're getting these little pockets of battles going on right now. We're looking at the battle for 7th place. On board with the American of Little Mo is his teammate Josh McGill. Has lost the lead again to Prodigy, who've been switching from first to second every other lap or so for the last few laps, even before the safety car. And Little Mo now makes up a place into turn 3. He's up to 7th place. But no sooner after he got the place, it looks like he's about to lose it, as he's still trying to hold on to it, but I think it's already gone as they go into turn 6. But look at this, the switchback from Little Mo. Is he going to get this done again? He's got the inside line for turn 7, and now at turn 8, the fight still goes on. He's slotted back in, looking left, looking right to that inside line for turn 9. But no, Tiny now getting himself a 3-second time penalty as well. Those time penalties are starting to rack up. Lee goes into the barrier. That could be another safety car. It is. I'm pretty sure everyone is going to go on to the soft tyre. He lost it at the exit of turn 10 after we saw a fantastic fight between Little Mo and Chuck. Little Mo getting himself into the overtakes of the month of December, getting himself into the top 3 of overtakes of the month, and was trying to get a first place spot for the end of January already at the start of the month. So while we wait to see what drivers will do, and I'm pretty sure everyone's going to come in for the softs now. The lap that we're on, we've basically got ourselves a mini sprint to the end now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. As I said, I'm 99% sure they're all going to pit. A lot of them got time penalties as well. Are we going to see any fighting into the pit lane? Quite a wide pit entry here. There's a long one at that. But yeah, see, look at this. Everyone's coming into the pit lane. Wise decision. And surely everyone's going to go on to the soft tyre to finish the race off. GTO stayed out. I think actually a wise decision here, because surely he's going to be able to unlap himself here. Slowing down. Not sure why he's actually slowing down, so he can unlap himself here, which he has done. So he stayed out that extra lap. Will pit now, but does have to get on with it so he's not overtaken by the safety car. So, as I said, not sure why he slowed down. That's actually going to hinder him rather than help him. And just got to get on with it as he gets into the pit lane. Short lap around here. Even though the safety car is going in slow in comparison to these Formula 1 cars, but he stays out actually. Oh no, sorry, he's on the new set as well. So if they were to catch up, apologies, didn't catch that. But yeah, as I was going to say, that Mercedes sports car, and not a slow car at all, obviously. So it wouldn't have took him too long. But he'll be able to catch up to the back. I'm sure we'll wait for him to catch back up. So with the leaders, we're going to go on to lap 29. There we go. And I think they're going to catch up by the end of lap 29. So it'll be lap 30 by the time 31 maybe. So I think we'll have 5 laps. I'm just trying to work it out. 30. Yeah, I think we're going 30. No, sorry, we'll have 6 laps. 6 laps to go. So easy, going to have a lot of life left in these softs when we get to the end as well. So we've almost got ourselves a mini sprint to the end. Of course, the drivers who have got time penalties almost going to have their head in their hands now, because this is not what they wanted, with only those 6 laps to get the field spread. Which, as we've seen all race, has not really happened all that much. It was quite close at the very start, with around the first 10 laps. We just have to wait and see what's going to happen next. As I said, we'll have this lap under the safety car. I'm pretty sure we're going to have lap 30. Is Apologies, my controller just died. Yeah, as I was saying, we're going to have this lap, obviously, and then lap 30 as well. So we'll get going on lap 31, I'm pretty sure of that. As those guys at the back would have caught up by then. Is GTO just coming into turn 4 now. And Paul Jones, his AI car, of course, he's not here, so we're actually down to 14, not 15. He would have caught up by the end of lap 29. So I think drivers are going to start to know this now. So where they try and just keep the tyres cooler, keep the grip levels as high as possible when the safety car ends, this is the lap where they're going to start working that tyre, getting them up to temperature, and getting the grip back up into them again to have the confidence, especially out of turn 10 and turn 1, very difficult corners for traction. It's such a crucial track to find balance between having good straight line speed here and good traction. So obviously having to worry about downforce on the rear and making sure the car is planted when you hit the right pedal as quickly and as early as you can, because it's just going to cost you down the end of these long straights. And with that DRS as well, especially if you're at the front of the queue. It's going to hurt you as well. So we're going to get underway. Just quickly before we do, there we go, race controls to safety car in this lap. If you're watching for the first time and haven't done so already and enjoying what you're watching, please subscribe to the channel. Do like that video. Everyone that's watching, you should be liking them by now. I preach it enough, so please put a like on the video for today and get more content, weekly content from highlights and moments of the week, so short videos on TikTok as well. And then once a month, at the end of the month, we have overtakes of the month as well. So plenty to watch. If you're joining us and you league race yourself on PlayStation, feel free to join. The Discord link is at the top of the YouTube channel, and get involved, reserve, take a full-time seat, whatever you want, because you're going to get involved in some absolutely great racing, which you're about to see once again. And I'm sure we're going to get going now out of turn 10 as we get going racing on lap 31. And Prodigy needed the start of his life here, because he's got 3 seconds to gain on four drivers behind him. 3 drivers behind him, sorry. As we go up to turn 3. It's starting to get to that point where Prodigy's going to be hoping and praying that the drivers behind him will start getting themselves 3-second time penalties as well. Surely some of them have got warnings. Of course, you can get 2 before the third one gives you that 3-second time penalty. So it really is 2 strikes and you're out. As Little Mo up to 7th alongside Chuck. Had that inside line, had the inside for turn 5. And is now through and into 7th place. Matty Jones just ahead of him. These two, of course, yet to get time penalties. Oh, I'm really sorry, Matty. Commentator's curse there. Matty with a 3-second time penalty at the exit of turn 8 there. That was his 3rd and final warning. As Prodigy takes the fastest lap, and as it stands, has that extra point. But an interesting what Josh is going to do here, because he's got Prodigy ahead of him. Obviously, got to stay within 3 seconds. Does he get past? Because he's looking in his rearview mirror. 2 of them behind him have not got time penalties either. So interesting strategies at play. I'm not too sure what's going to happen really. Josh just sticking to the back as Matty Jones gets ever closer to the back of that Ferrari. A tiny Ferrari looking very strong in terms of points so far this evening. Sitting 4th in the championship as it stands in the constructors. It could be moving up into the top 3 if it stays like this at the end of the race. So Little Mo as well in a really good place here. Been very, very good this season so far. His DRS is now enabled on lap 33. 4 laps to go with Matty Jones having a pop. A look at the inside line there, but they didn't have the grip, and Tiny getting very aggressive there, making him push him across here. Look at this. 3 into turn 3 with the 4th being Chuck just at the back. Is he going to make up any places from mistakes ahead of him as Chuck now gets past Tiny? Tiny's now down to 8th. Little Mo up to 5th, now loses it and is down in 6th. I don't think he had DRS down towards turn 4. And at the front as well, really starting to push on. 3 seconds ahead of 5th, which is a big fight as well. As I said, Little Mo always looks strong towards the end of a race. We saw it 2 weeks ago in Imola. We saw it in the first race of the season at Australia, as Matty weaving down the straight. Going to have a look here. No, sits back, waits for the longest straight here at the Red Bull Ring. DRS open. We look a little bit further up the hill, and Short Mark is getting close now to Josh McGill. They know this is a fight for the lead. Again, look at this, into turn 3 as we move back to the midfield. Chuck and Tiny swapping places. Josh McGill now just got past Prodigy and got that buffer, which is what he needed now. He gets a bit out of shape though at the exit of turn 4 as we see this midfield of 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th exit turn 4 as well. Just trying to keep an eye on both battles here. Very interesting. Not sure what's going to happen as well in terms of time penalties. It's everything's just certainly up for grabs right now, especially with this front 4. Prodigy, though, is the one with the handicap right now because he's got that 3-second time penalty to his name. As we go on to lap 35, the penultimate lap here at Austria, into the Lauda curve for the penultimate time as we now exit. Foot flat to the floor, pedal to the metal as we go up towards turn 3. Short Marcus needs to get this move done if he's got any chance, any hope of getting the race win. He's somewhat come from nowhere until the end of that last safety car that we had that ended on lap 31. As we're halfway through lap 33, Short Marcus looks again to that inside. He tried it on Prodigy, got it done at turn 3, as Little Mo still holding on to 5th place, potentially gaining and collecting a decent amount of points today, as Short Marcus within 3 and a bit tenths and got a huge amount of battery to play with on this final lap that's coming up through turn 10 for the penultimate time. Josh McGill with a 3-second time penalty as we go on to the final lap. Short Marcus, what is he going to do now? And it was also meant Chuckle is fighting for a victory now, but he's sat at the very back. Here goes Short Marcus. Is Josh McGill going to fight this? Is he going to fight this in the steward's room? Prodigy looking at the inside, almost 3 into 1. Here goes Prodigy. He's actually fighting for position, pushes the Alfa Romeo off the track, hits him again. Josh McGill is certainly going to be annoyed about that. We're going 3 wide down towards turn 4. Everything is on the cards and on the line as we're on the final lap. Through turn 4 we go. Powering out. Josh McGill still sitting in 2nd. Short Marcus now up to 1st. As we go around turn 6 and 7 through turn 8, Little Mo is going to enjoy this fighting ahead because it's going to gain him time that he desperately needs to move up some more places. As Short Marcus comes through the final corner, he has been on the podium twice this season, but it's his first win in season 14. Chuckle comes home 2nd. Josh McGill looking like he's going to be 3rd. He is. Prodigy is 4th, Little Mo is 5th after penalties applied. Pippo Kennedy finishes 6th. Wow, that was a dramatic finish. And again, Alfa Romeo picking up a very decent amount of points and looking very strong this season so far. We'll do the rundown in a minute, but I need to take a breath for a second. So here you go, the podium, the final positions, and here's your podium. Short Marcus, RTG, Chuckle, and Josh McGill. Prodigy came home in 4th, which he's done a couple of times this season so far. Little Mo moved himself all the way up to 5th place. Pippo Kennedy finished 6th. 7th was Matty Jones. Chuck finished 10th. Looney Man finished 9th. Royal Rumble finished in 10th. Tiny was 11th. 12th was Prof. Danny was 13th. 14th was GT Ord. The drivers that didn't finish were Paul Jones, RTG Lee, Matthew, nice job mate, and Ginge, my driver of the day this evening. I'm not too sure. I think I'm going to have to give it to Short Mark. He started 7th and he won the race of a time of 45 minutes 7 seconds. And a honourable mention actually to Little Mo again. Fantastic races so far. He's already took 2 drivers of the day this season, so we're going to steer away from him a little bit. Hope he doesn't mind. We're going to give it to Short Marcus for driver of the day. That was absolutely fantastic. Same as last couple of weeks. Just been a little bit busy. Not going to do podiums today. Be sure we'll do them with Lee on Thursday. I can promise you that. Talking about Thursday quickly before I go. We will be at Silverstone on Thursday, so I'm really looking forward to that. The home of Formula One racing. And it's a sprint race as well. So join us for that one on Thursday. Of course, normal time, 8 p.m. UK time, 9 p.m. Western European time. Yeah, hopefully we'll see you then. Make sure to keep checking out the highlight videos, overtakes of the month as well. Keep an eye on those short videos for moments of the week as well. Top 3 moments of the week. And as I said, we'll catch you on Thursday with me and Lee. And if you're not interested in Thursday races and you want to come back just for tier ones, no problem. But of course, you're going to want to know where we are next week, and it's in China for the first time in a little while. Actually, we've been at China, so keep your eye out for that one. Same time, same place next Monday. So thanks very much. Make sure you're liking the videos, subscribing to the channel, share the videos with your friends that like watching league races, and we'll see you on Thursday.